Demetrius II. Nicator, a name etched in the annals of the Seleucid dynasty, lived a life of dramatic reversals. Born in the early 2nd century BC, he was the son of Demetrius I Soter, a powerful Seleucid king. His early life was steeped in the grandeur and turmoil that characterized the Hellenistic world. As a royal prince, Demetrius would have received an education befitting his status, learning the arts of war and diplomacy. However, the young prince's life was about to take a dramatic turn as the Seleucid kingdom, once a beacon of power, faced growing instability. The Seleucid Empire, vast and sprawling, stretched from modern-day Turkey in the west to Afghanistan in the east. Ruling this vast realm proved increasingly challenging. Internal strife, ambitious rivals, and external threats from neighboring kingdoms plagued Demetrius's early years. Little did he know that these early experiences would shape his destiny and set him on a path marked by both triumph and tragedy. His story is a testament to the turbulent times and the precarious nature of power in the ancient world. The Seleucid throne, a beacon of power and authority, was also a precarious seat, often subject to the whims of fate and the ambitions of men. Demetrius II's early life, once filled with the promise of royal privilege, was irrevocably altered by the tumultuous events that unfolded within his own family. His father, Demetrius I Soter, faced a formidable opponent in the form of Alexander I Barlas, a cunning usurper who claimed a connection to the Seleucid lineage. Alexander I Barlas, with the support of powerful external allies, challenged Demetrius I's rule, plunging the Seleucid kingdom into a bitter civil war. The conflict raged, tearing at the fabric of the kingdom and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. In a devastating turn of events, Demetrius III Soter was defeated and killed in battle, leaving his young son, Demetrius II, without a throne or a protector. Forced into exile, Demetrius II and his loyal followers sought refuge in the eastern reaches of the crumbling empire. These were dark times for the young prince. Stripped of his birthright and forced to contend with the loss of his father, however, the flames of ambition still flickered within him. Demetrius II was not content to live out his days as a forgotten prince. He yearned to reclaim his birthright and restore the Seleucid dynasty to its former glory. Exile, for Demetrius II, was not a time of passive waiting. It was a period of strategic planning and alliance-building. Forced to the fringes of his once vast empire, he understood that reclaiming his throne would require cunning, determination, and the support of powerful allies. Demetrius turned his gaze eastward towards the kingdom of Crete, ruled by his powerful mother-in-law, Cleopatra Thea. Cleopatra Thea, a woman of considerable influence and political acumen, recognized the potential in her son-in-law. She offered him refuge and, crucially, access to Cretan resources and military might. With Cretan support, Demetrius II began to assemble an army, gathering loyalists and mercenaries who flocked to his banner, enticed by the promise of restoring the Seleucid dynasty to its former glory. The Eastern Mediterranean, a melting pot of cultures and ambitions, became the stage for Demetrius II's resurgence. He forged alliances with local rulers and leveraged his royal lineage to garner support. His time in exile transformed him from a prince who had lost everything into a seasoned strategist, hardened by adversity and determined to reclaim his birthright. The years spent away from the Seleucid heartland had honed his skills and instilled in him a deep understanding of the precarious nature of power. The Seleucid Empire, once a beacon of stability, remained embroiled in turmoil. Alexander the Vabalas, the usurper who had seized the throne, had proven to be an unpopular ruler. His reign was marked by internal strife and a weakening grip on the vast territories he had inherited. This instability created the perfect opportunity for Demetrius II, now bolstered by Cretan support and hardened by years of exile, to make his move. Landing on the Cilician coast, Demetrius II's return sent shockwaves through the empire. His arrival ignited a resurgence of loyalty among those who yearned for the return of the true Seleucid line. People flocked to his banner, eager to overthrow the increasingly unpopular Alexander I Balus. What began as a daring gamble quickly gained momentum, transforming into a full-fledged rebellion against the usurper king. The clash between Demetrius II and Alexander I Balus was inevitable. The two armies, each representing a different vision for the future of the Seleucid Empire, met in a fierce battle that would decide the fate of the kingdom. Demetrius II, hardened by years of exile and driven by a thirst for vengeance, fought with the ferocity of a man reclaiming what was rightfully his. The battle ended in a resounding victory for Demetrius II, marking the end of Alexander I Balus's short-lived reign and paving the way for the restoration of the Seleucid dynasty. However, the path to reclaiming the throne was fraught with challenges. Demetrius II had to navigate a series of key battles and political maneuvers. Forming alliances with influential factions within the empire was crucial. He secured the support of key military leaders and regional governors. The Battle of Antioch was one of the decisive confrontations. Demetrius II's strategic acumen and the loyalty of his troops played a pivotal role in his victory. The siege of Achaemenid further demonstrated his military prowess. Despite facing formidable defences, his forces managed to breach the city walls. Diplomacy also played a significant role. Demetrius II negotiated with neighbouring kingdoms, ensuring their neutrality or support in his quest. These alliances were instrumental in isolating Alexander I Balus and consolidating Demetrius II's power base. Ultimately, through a combination of military might, strategic alliances, and political acumen, Demetrius II successfully reclaimed the Seleucid throne, restoring stability to the empire. Demetrius II's triumphant return to power was met with widespread relief and celebration. His victory over the usurper, Alexander I Balus, ushered in a period of relative stability and renewed hope for the war-torn Seleucid Empire. Eager to solidify his rule and heal the wounds of the past, Demetrius II embarked on a series of reforms and campaigns aimed at consolidating his power and restoring order to the realm. One of his first acts was to reward his loyal followers, those who had stood by him during his years of exile and supported his bid for the throne. He bestowed upon them lands, titles, and positions of authority, ensuring their continued loyalty and strengthening his grip on power. Recognizing the importance of projecting an image of strength and stability, he also focused on rebuilding the Seleucid army, which had been depleted by years of internal strife. Demetrius II understood that true power lay not only in military might, but also in fostering economic prosperity and securing the empire's borders. He implemented administrative reforms aimed at revitalizing trade and commerce, seeking to restore the Seleucid Empire to its former glory as a center of economic power. His efforts to stabilize the empire's finances and promote economic growth were crucial in consolidating his rule and restoring a sense of normalcy after years of turmoil. Demetrius II also reformed the legal system, ensuring fairer trials and reducing corruption, which helped to gain the trust of his subjects. His strategies for maintaining power included forming alliances with neighboring states and securing key military positions to deter potential threats. Despite his efforts, Demetrius II's reign was cut short. He was captured during a campaign against the Parthians and spent the last years of his life in captivity, ultimately dying in 125 BC. His death marked the end of a turbulent yet impactful reign, leaving a mixed legacy of both triumph and tragedy.